Oklahoma Senator James Lankford is just back from a fact-finding trip to the Mideast. As a member of the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, he met with representatives of our partner nations in that region of the world on the threat posed by the terrorist group ISIS. He came by to talk with News on 6 anchor Scott Thompson.
The president would like authorization to use limited military force against ISIS. Would you vote to give him that authorization?
I would. I want to get a chance to discuss it a little more. I've got to get a chance to visit with some of the military leaders. Obviously, that was on my desk last week. It's very peculiar what the president put on my desk last week on the request. He basically requested the ability to use military force, but also asked that Congress limit him and say, don't allow me to do this. To put any kind of ground forces on the ground, even if they're needed. And also he wants to give a 3-year time period, which is basically the rest of his presidency and early into the next president, forcing the next president to come back to Congress again. My issue is, if ISIS is a threat, and they are, we see them as a threat, and not say, you're a threat, but we're only going to kind of fight you. We need to aggressively go after something that's a threat to the United States. So while I'm no warmonger, and I have no interest in us putting troops on the ground, I also have no interest in saying to ISIS, we'll fight you a little bit, but we won't fight you hard.
How do you defeat something that is not so much an army, but a theory? And it gets back to the president either yesterday or today was making a speech defending the fact that he never uses the term Islamic terrorists, because he says that's exactly what they want us to say, that this is a clash of religions and civilizations, and they are the Islamic side and we're the Christian side. They're a bunch of terrorists.
They are.
And if you don't give them the honor of saying they're Islamic terrorists, that it diminishes them in the Islamic world. Do you buy that?
I don't, actually. And the difficulty of that is you have to be able to label and say, what are we really fighting against? There is an ideology that's within Islam that he may say is not mainstream Islam, but it is definitely within Islam that believes they're the pure version of Islam, and they're not only willing to kill Christians and Jews, but they're willing to kill other Muslims and say, you don't meet our standard. And so not only do you not meet our standard, you're an infidel the same as everyone else, and we'll kill you as well. Now, when you go after something like that militarily, you understand it's not a large group in their core of their leadership. There may be an ideology that has several million followers all over the world, but not all of them are active and all of them are militant. The number of fighters that they have active right now is about 35,000. It's not a huge number of fighters. They're just scattered, and where they go, they're brutal in their tactics. We do have to engage. They will continue to spread. Now, ISIS is very different than Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda has a central core leadership. They have people all over the world, and they'll say, wait on our instructions and we'll tell you what to do. ISIS basically says, if you believe like we do, here's our logo. Go print up our logo and use it. Here's our ideology. Say you're with us. Here's a list of people to kill, and here are methods to kill them, and you're a part of us. That's very different than what we faced in the past.
Lankford says ISIS acts like a franchisee of terror, recruiting the like-minded around the world to kill those it opposes, no matter where they may be. That's what he said to that's why he says the United States has to act to stop. One way